Unit 9, Lesson 1, we're going to go over problems 25 to 36 in this video. We have this provided equation. This represents the length of the outside, the arc length, and here we have the length of the radius, and here we have this interior angle. Now the interior angle must always be provided in radian measurements before we actually compute the answer. So I know that the radius for number 25 is 8, but now I need to convert 70 degrees into a radian measurement. To do that, I'm going to take the 70 degrees and divide it by 180, placing a pi on the outside. You can grab a calculator. And now I have, let me make sure this is locked in. Okay, now I have 70 pi divided by 180. I'm going to take that times the radius of 8, and now I'm going to round this to the nearest, let's go 100th, so 9.77. This is in terms of centimeters. Let's look at number 26. So remember, I have three different things. So here I can see I'm trying to figure out what is radius. This is what I'm trying to figure out. I'm given that the arc length is 6 feet and I have an interior angle of 130. I need to take 130, divide it by 180, placing a pi on the outside. So to isolate x, I need to take this value and divide it. I'm just going to use this as a hashtag here to represent the value of this. So divided by this numerical value, divided by this numerical value, and I'll have x equals what is this radius length. So let's first figure out what this is. I have 130 pi divided by 180. Make sure to put a pi on the top. Now I want to take 6 and divide by this exact measurement. I'm going to suggest you do not round this. Take 6 divided by the rounded number and then round again. Rounding multiple times is going to provide us an answer that is not very accurate. So 6 divided by this exact answer, I'm going to hit second answer, and now I'll round. So I have an answer of x is equivalent to 2.64, and we have length in terms of feet. Let's look at number 27. Okay, I have the outside arc length is 3 inches. We have a radius of 4, and I want to figure out what is this interior angle. We want to express it in terms of degrees. Okay, so I'm going to divide by 4. So divide by 4 to both sides. So I have 3 divided by 4 is equal to this angle. So 0.75. Now, I need to convert this back into degrees. So I'm going to take this times 180 over pi. So I'm going to take 3 divided by 4, which we, 3 divided by 4, which we know is similar to or equivalent to 0.75. I'm going to take it times 180 and divide it by pi to get an answer of 42.97 degrees. Let's take a look at the next 3 problems. Okay, let's take a look at number 28. I want to figure out what is the arc length. So that is the S in this formula. Okay, I know that this interior angle is 2. Now, if I don't see a degree measurement, that means it's already in terms of radians. And we have a radius of 14. Okay, when I take 14 times 2, I end up with a length of 28 millimeters. Let's look at number 29. Okay, so number 29, I want to figure out what is the radius. So here's the area where I put the radius. We can see the arc length is 8.2. This interior angle is 90 degrees, but I need to convert 90 degrees into a radian measurement. So to do that, I take 90 and I take it times pi, and then, I take 90 times pi and divide it by 180. But I don't want to round and round again, so I'm just going to put for now the pi symbol. Many of you would know that this is equivalent to 1 pi over 2, and I can show that 1 pi divided by 2. Get the same thing. So now to isolate this x, I want to divide by this value. I don't want to round this and write, for instance, 1.57, 1.57, and then divide, because it'd be rounding twice. So 8.2 divided by this exact answer, and now we have 5.22, 5.22. This is in terms of centimeters. Let's take a look at number 30. 30, we can see that this arc length is 3, And oh, now we need to convert this to one value. Let me shut the door so we don't hear footsteps. When I convert this, I need to have it in terms of the exact same. These need to be the exact same units. Yes, I see feet and feet, but then I have this additional inches. So let's think back to how we previously did this at the beginning of Unit 1. We have 1 foot, but then we have an additional 3 inches. So how many inches are in a foot? 12. So this can convert to, we have 1 plus 3 divided by 12. Whoops, so sorry. We have 1 plus 3 divided by 12, which should be 1.25. So this is equivalent to 1.25 feet. Okay, so this is my radius, 1.25. This is my arc length, and I need to figure out what is this angle. So to isolate, I'm going to take 3 and divide it by this, 3 divided by 1.25, and I end up with 2.4. But I need to express this in terms of degrees. So I want to take this measurement and take it times 180 over pi. 2.4 times 180, divide it by pi. We will end up with an answer of 137.51 maybe. So this angle is 137.51, and don't forget the degrees. Let's look at the next. All right, now we're taking a look at number 31 through 33. So halfway done with this third portion, I want to figure out what is the radius. So there's my x. I know my interior angle is 22 degrees, but I need to convert that into a radian measurement. And my arc length is 2. So let's convert 22 degrees into radians. How do I quickly do that? So as a reminder, I'm going to take 22 degrees and I'm going to take it times pi over 180 degrees. So I'm going to do 22 and I'm going to take it times pi and I'm going to divide it by 180, and I'm going to write this is the value that's on my calculator. Now, to isolate the x, I want to divide by that value, which is still in my calculator, so I want to take 2 divided by this exact value. Don't round and then round again. 2 divided by this exact value, and we end up with 5.21. So this length is approximately 5.21 inches. Let's look at 32. 32, I have a radius of 14. Oh, I have an outside arc angle of 14, but notice the problem here is these are not in terms of the same units. So I'm going to reverse this, and first I'm going to convert to the same units, and then I'll answer this. Okay, so there's 1 centimeter in 10 millimeters. So if I take this amount times 10, I end up with this is equivalent to 14 millimeters. This is equivalent to 14 millimeters. You may be wondering, well, what if I change these both into centimeters? That's okay. As long as they're the same unit, we'll be able to achieve the correct interior angle. So I'm going to come back up here. I have at this time an arc length of 14 millimeters. I have a radius of 14, and I want to figure out what is this interior angle. So I'm going to divide by 14, divided by 14, I end up with 1. Now I'm going to come off to the side here and write down, I need to convert this now into degrees. So I have 1 is equal to, let me actually put a little post. So 1 is correct. Now I need to convert that into degrees. So I take this 1 times 180 divided by 1 pi. So we know 1 times 180 is simply 180 divided by pi gives me an answer of 57.3 approximately, 57.3. 1 is the radian. We want the degrees. 57.3 degrees. All right, let's look at number 33. Okay, so 33, we have an arc length here. Let me move this down so everybody can see just fine. We have an arc length that we're trying to achieve. We have a radius of 3 meters. And the nice thing is we have an interior angle that is already written in terms of radians. So let's take 3 times 5 pi divided by 6. Okay, so this is going to be this outside. And remember, we want to make sure to label it correctly. So 7.85 meters. Let's look at the final 3 problems. Number 34. So we want to figure out what the arc length is. We see we have a radius of 7, and before I multiply times 40, I need to convert 40 degrees into radians. So I can quickly do that by taking 40 times pi divided by 180. So that's this number right here. It is 40 degrees in terms of a radian measurement. And now I'm going to take that times 7, and we come up with an answer of 4.89 approximately. 4.89 inches. Let's take a look at number 35. We have an arc length of 28, and we need to figure out what is the radius. And the nice thing is we already have the interior angle in terms of radian measurements. So I want to take this value and divide it to both sides, 3 pi over 4 and 3 pi over 4. Okay, we're trying to figure out what is this length, the radius. So 28 divided by 3 pi divided by 4, we come up with an answer of approximately 11.88 inches. Let's look at number 36. 36, we have an arc length of 10. We can see the radius. Oh, and here's the problem. I'm noticing these are not in terms of the same. So we can convert them both into inches or both into feet, whatever is quickest for you. I think I'm able to quickly convert both into inches and do that the fastest way. So I have an arc length of 10. Instead of putting 2 feet, I know each foot is 12 inches, so 12 and 12 is 24 inches. And now we want to solve for this interior angle. So I have 10 divided by 24. I don't want to write this down. I don't want to write this down unless I convert it into a nice fraction, which is fine. So 5 over 12 is this angle. Now I need to convert this into degrees. So to convert this into degrees, I'm going to take 5 over 12, and I'm going to take it times 180 over pi. So I have this amount, and I'm going to take it times 180 and divide it by pi. And now, oops, sorry, let me do that again. 5 divided by 12 times 180 and divided by pi. And I get an answer of approximately 23.87 degrees. 23.87 degrees.